This is Aussie Mac Zone. We'll cover everything Apple, including Macs, iPhones, iPads, and more. All this from an Aussie perspective. Sit back, relax, and insert yourself into the zone. The Aussie Mac Zone.
Hello everybody, welcome to show 163 Aussie Mac Zone again this week. Don't forget, we're brought to you by ATH Web Hosting. Affordable servers, 99.955% uptime, domain registration, 250 scripts with one click, and cPanel, and all from just $5.95 per month when paid annually. Now I've got my friend Garth along again this week, awesomely. How are you, buddy?
Well, the internet connection is yet to be seen, Michael. I'm here. Whether it will be awesomely is another question entirely.
Yeah, it just went a little bit
there we go.
And for those who...
Just a perfect example.
Yes, and for those who are trying to listen to us on Facebook, we're not there. So you'll hear that in the show later, but it just played us over and over and over and over and over and over again in audio for some reason, so I couldn't get it to stop. So here we go again. Facebook won't be live, I'm sorry. So Apple investigating explicit photo sharing ring run by employees at Australian Apple Store. 9 to 5 reports an Apple store in Australia is under fire for accusations of employees stealing personal images from the phones of customers, as well as taking images of female customers and female staff without their knowledge. The employers then used the images to rank their bodies from 1 to 10. According to the report from the Courier Mail, which calls it the biggest scandal to hit Apple in Australia, in more than 100 close-up and explicit photos were taken of female staff and customers without permission. Additionally, more photos were pulled from the iPhones of customers who were having their phones repaired. The Apple Store employees would then rank the images on a scale 1 to 10 in terms of their bodies. The issue was first brought to light when a staff member at the Apple Store in Queensland noticed a technician looking through a customer's phone in the repair room. According to today's report, 4 male staff at the store have been fired over the issue, while Apple is flying in an overseas HR executive to manage the fallout. Apple itself has issued a statement concerning the situation, explaining it is investigating a violation of Apple's business conduct policy, which also taking the opportunity to reinforce its belief that everyone should be treated equal and with respect. Now, an update says that Apple says its investigation has found no evidence of inappropriate data transfers of photos from customers' phones. So that was an update. And there'll be a link in the show notes to the full story. That's not very good.
Not very good. That's an understatement. So which store, do we know which store this was?
Carindale?
Carindale,
yeah.
Carindale. Oh, yeah. Because there's a couple up in Brisbane. So let's hope it is a completely one-off isolated case in that particular store. You've just got a couple of
idiots.
Oh dear, for lack of a bad word, for lack of a better word, bad apples.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
In that particular store, because that is just an absolute nightmare for the people. For it's humiliating, really,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yeah.
For Apple, it's the last possible thing that they could possibly want to have happen. And that, like I said, let's hope that is a thing. In any organization the size of Apple, you're going to have idiots, numbskulls like that who think, oh, it's okay to do this. It's all a bit of fun. Well, it's not a bit of fun. You're talking about other people, and it's.
Yeah. There's people. They obviously don't listen to the news or anything because they don't understand. This is what Donald Trump's getting in trouble for. So if they think it's still all right, times have changed, unfortunately. Or fortunately, times have changed. Yes.
And thanks to the technician who was at the store who noticed this and
reported it.
report it. Had the balls to, or I don't know if they
Had
balls
something
actually
had something
had
to
the
report it.
had the
Nerve.
nerve. There we go. Thank you.
Tenacity.
Rescue. Tenacity. That's not a good one. Had the mindfulness as well to actually think, hang on, something's wrong there, and found what they found.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, good.
summarily
Good on 'em.
dismissal without, yeah.
So we're not all bag eggs. Just remember that. So now, Facebook now lets you stream video to Apple TV and Chromecast. The Verge reports Facebook wants on it. Sorry, I'll start again. Blah 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 blah. The Verge reports Facebook wants videos on its platform to live on as many screens as possible. So the social network has added Apple TV and Chromecast support starting today. Now when you watch a video on Facebook using your smartphone, you'll see a small button in the upper right-hand corner that when tapped will let you send the video to a supported device hooked up to your television. Facebook is starting with Apple TV and Chromecast for now, with the feature live for iOS users. It plans to deliver Chromecast support for Android users sometime soon. Now this is just this is just one small step in Facebook's grander video ambitions. And if they can get rid of the echo, they'd have more luck. The company has invested significant resources into transforming the news feed into a place to digest all sorts of video, be it live stream clips from a stranger's mobile to professionally edited videos crafted by news organisations. Adding streaming support to watch these videos on larger displays is an obvious choice to increase consumption. So there we go. Watch us on Apple TV if we can only get it to work. You'll be able to do it from the timeline later on. That wouldn't be all right for you.
That'll be okay. Yeah. It's funny. It's funny to see Facebook really is targeting that. You know, I always still think of Facebook as being little short clips.
Yeah.
The kind of stuff that you wouldn't really throw to a TV, but they're really targeting it, seems.
Yeah, and apparently, like, you can be watching it and keep reading your timeline sort of thing at the same time if it gets a bit boring in the middle of the video you're watching.
Someone will hand off to the TV or whatever and
yeah,
let that keep going while you move on through the rest of your feed. Okay,
yeah.
Interesting.
So there's also something about sound, being able to do that with sound now on your phone too, but I haven't been able to get that to work yet. So Apple has a software workaround for the iPhone 7's home button if it malfunctions. So after removal of the headphone jack, did they do something? Oh, they must have. One of the biggest changes to Apple's iPhone 7 is the new home button. It's no longer a mechanical button, but a force-sensitive static button. And it seems that the company has introduced an additional workaround when the new button might not work as expected. According to MacRumors forum user, the iPhone 7 displays a home button in the screen's phone when it detects there might be a problem. And the user noted that the phone displayed the message after it turned off while charging, and when he restarted, it worked at first and then started playing up. The haptic engine kept firing three to four times in a row for every press. I restarted the phone again and it's back to not working. So I just had a little thing on the screen saying, here's a home button, like the home button on the screen that we're used to.
Yep.
If your home button's not working properly. So that's how they got around that. Your thoughts?
So it's similar to, just bringing up the assistive touch, basically, isn't it?
Yeah, it just turns it on automatically for you and it's there.
Yeah.
So it's good because you don't want to get stuck without the home
No,
button.
that's the first concern when when you start putting things that were a physical thing into a software, Okay, so what if when you've got a physical button, you sort of have a bit more confidence that there's some kind of switch there that forces it to come through. But I guess at the end of the day, it's still down to the software, even with a physical button like home button. One, the switch has got to work, and two, the software still has to acknowledge that the switch has been pressed,
Yes. Yeah.
So it maybe is a false sense of security having a physical button there, but as you say, at least they've got a workaround if there is issues.
And it came up automatically on this person's phone too, so that's good.
Yeah, yeah.
iMessage users can now use Shazam without leaving their conversation. Users of the popular music identification app Shazam can now look up songs within iMessage without leaving their conversation. The London-based company announced the launch of Shazam for iMessage, where you can send song names and previews to those you're messaging. Shazam for iMessage is available from the iMessage App Store. That's just something different.
But would you want to do it?
Well, if you're having a discussion about a song or trying to guess the name of the song and going through it together, I think possibly, yeah, you know.
I'm wondering how much usage people are putting to message apps. I know my son has been using it, playing little games with his friends, like a Battleship, or just sort of little turn-based games like that.
Yeah.
But have you? Is it something you've used?
No.
Any of the messaging apps? Yeah.
No, but I'm an old.
Are you? Okay. Sorry. No, I certainly haven't either. But
yes,
I can see how it's pretty cool for like I said, those sort of turn-based games like that, just to have it all in the app.
And if it's just
cool.
there, like if you're there, blah blah blah, while you're chatting away and waiting for them to reply, you can look up the name of the song that you were trying to think of. So
it's just the discoverability of the games, though. You know, I don't know, are people going? It's a bit of a dig through to find the message app store. You know, it's not like it's in the normal app store. Or you've got to put a bit of effort in to make it happen. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
Quite a lot of effort, actually. It seems. Enabling even if you've got the app on there, you still have to go and enable it, don't you? I think so. Yeah.
It's all part of the fun.
Okay.
And they say we don't have enough discoverability. They're making it discoverable as the discoverability, isn't that right?
Oh, yeah, I guess. You're making a game out of discovering it. Yeah. Yes, I guess so. Make it more fun to discover, maybe, by hiding it more. That's a theory, I guess.
Enjoy the challenge.
Right, okay.
Yes.
And I guess that's what a lot of people like to do, but a lot of but most people, I think, just like to use it without worrying about having to work out how, you know. Oh. So it will find a loyal market, I'm sure. I'm just wondering how broad it will become.
Well, if we tell people, at least they can look for it.
There you go. Just make that a tip, Michael. How you add messaging apps. There you go.
Yes. Okay. We'll put that down as a list. Yes. We reported last week about Spoken Editions magazine articles, and we weren't sure what was going on. So, in iTunes on the Mac, search the store for Spoken Editions, and this will bring up a podcast called Spoken Editions. Below the list of episodes is a podcast heading, and in this group you can see magazine title or letters, because Spoken Editions is a podcast that hasn't been updated for about 3 or 4 years. So it's just a bit tricky. So then you'll see things like a square box with LH and then Spoken Editions in square brackets underneath LH, or it's got a picture of a soccer ball for IGN football, and so they've all got these square bracket, Spoken Edition square bracket, and if you're on the podcast app on your iDevice, do the same thing. Search for Spoken Editions, click the podcast tab on the top right hand side, and select your square bracket Spoken Edition square bracket magazine and listen away. So I had to listen to a couple a day, and some are only a minute long. So one of the ones I think was a minute and a half, and it was how to get a seat on an aeroplane with no one sitting next to you. Just little.
Oh, that's a useful one.
little tricks on how to get around that. So that's just an example of what's there, and it's someone speaking. It doesn't even sound computer voice. It sounds like a real voice. So I don't know quite how they're doing it, but it was great.
Must have had them. I think I did hear after we did that episode that they were professionally recorded. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the voice talent. So I will definitely check them out again. Yeah.
So there's a fair few there. So.
Is there a good? Yeah, we need a good list of the different magazines and outlets that have.
There's Soccer, TechCrunch, Time, Life Hacker, supposedly Playboy, but I didn't see that one.
Didn't you? No.
Nah, and you can only listen to the articles.
Oh well, there you go.
So
That's what everyone says they're looking for anyway. So
right.
there you are. That's the truth. Then that should be a very popular one. That one.
That's right. So
no artwork.
Now I've got to turn this one on and this one. And so don't forget, we're here to promote Aussie Tech Radio, aussietechradio.com, the Aussie Tech Security Podcast. I know it's had a couple of updates lately. And don't forget the Aussie Tech Head Podcast. So get in. There's actually a couple of new, on Aussie Tech Radio, there's a couple of new podcasts floating through there. So it's
good.
just worth the listen, yes.
Yeah.
Have you got any secrets to divulge at the moment? Or
So I thought we better cover quickly the Australian startup Saunders, who sometime this year apparently producing their own e-ink keyboard.
Yeah.
So we're talking about a keyboard where all the keys on the keyboard are little tiny e-ink screens, so they can be updated on the fly. So whether you're in your various professional applications like
Photoshop or
Logic.
Yeah,
Logic
any of
10,
those. Yeah.
whatever.
So you don't need an overlay. You can just have the same keyboard without an overlay sitting on top of it, which is the way we've been doing it. Yeah.
So so there's speculation that the Saunders companies, or the people involved in it, are in conversation with Apple, who are, as we said, speculation that they might be using these keyboards in maybe their 2018 laptops.
Yes.
Seems like quite I don't know. That's a lot of little e-ink screens. I wonder how affordable that, how quickly they can get that to scale. That sounds pretty cool though, doesn't it?
Because they actually look like keys. Now I don't know whether it was where the photo was taken, as opposed to being, say, like your iPad, just having a flat surface with no travel, but that's what the key says.
Yeah, they're individual keys. They're still physical, mechanical keys.
Yep.
The actual key pops are little e-ink screens.
Yeah. And so it also makes it easier. That means Apple doesn't have to have 40 plus different keyboards for manufacturing.
Correct. So there could be some minor cost savings there, but
and believe me, when you're trying to find, when I'm looking through what they call GSX at Apple, which has got all the parts in it, and even when you're actually on that model and you're looking up a keyboard to get a replacement keyboard, it lists the wired keyboards, it lists the Bluetooth keyboards, which is, there's two of them there. I think they've still got both of them. Yeah. And then they list the keyboard. So, but each one in every language. So you've got, the English, Belgian, Czechoslovakian, Japanese, Chinese, Korean, and just takes forever just to find that US one, which is what Australia uses.
Yeah.
Yes, so it takes forever. So that's going to save me time.
Just the one keyboard would be a wonderful thing, I guess.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see their actual keyboard themselves, because as I understand, they're planning to release their own coming up sometime this year. So it will be interesting to see what that's like and how well that works.
Yeah.
And I guess you don't have to worry about whether it's an Apple keyboard or Windows keyboard at that point either, do you? So
that's right.
you can make it any keyboard you like.
Yeah. So that was good to hear, actually. Yes. It'd be interesting.
And one other quick little story I wanted to cover that came out, that I came across just after we recorded last week's.
Yeah, of course.
Is Melbourne having transport support in Apple Maps now? Transit support, I should say.
Yeah.
So your bus times and so forth. Obviously, I'm not down there to test it, but it's a good thing, and it hopefully, keeps spreading across the country, and I'll have it here soon too.
I have to get Glenn to send you down on a jaunt just for testing.
Oh yeah, that'll happen. Yeah, go and do some of the wine country while we're down there.
Yes. So
because
We have to try that, don't we?
Absolutely.
I don't think the tram goes that far out, but
Oh, come on. Sure, it can be made to.
the trains do. Trains definitely do.
There
They
you
get
go.
they get out
Well,
to
they're part
Ballarat.
of public. They're kind of part of the public transport.
Yeah. And another thing, just talking about public transport, is the Opal card system in Sydney is getting tap to pay next year. They haven't given any confirmed dates or anything yet, but they the tap to pay, so you won't need an Opal card. You can just use your ordinary card to tap on it as you go through and pay for your ticket or pay for your ride, and it'll just work exactly the same, supposedly. Now, Opal is owned by the same company that does the London Transit Underground,
Yes. Right. Yep.
which you can just use your phones for. You can just tap your phone and walk through using Apple Pay. But the Opal card people, their PR people, couldn't confirm whether Apple Pay will work at the same time or not. They haven't got any times for Apple Pay, because that's specifically what I asked, and they haven't got an answer yet.
Okay. Right.
So they said keep looking it up, and I went, yes, thank you.
Well, we've got all those, the tap and go systems here in Queensland, so hopefully they will at some point support Apple Pay as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, now, how to? A new major feature that comes baked into watchOS 3 update for Apple Watches is Emergency SOS. And this will let you call, and I'll be honest, I haven't tried it, but because it's locale based, it should dial 000 when you set it up to dispatch emergency personnel to your current location, and will alert your loved ones that you're in trouble and extreme bouts of danger or life-threatening emergencies right from your wrist. So Emergency SOS is smart enough to use your current location to alert the proper emergency agencies in your local area, and it even works on international scale, not just in the US. Emergency SOS is great for the following scenarios: when you're suffering a major allergic reaction, a health problem, a life-threatening injury, when your house or place of business catches fire, if you've been assaulted or kidnapped, etc., and the list goes on. So you set up emergency contacts. You go to need to manually specify who your emergency contacts are, and you're allowed 3. So it should dial 000 and then also contact your emergency list. So you do that from within the phone app, and it just shows you the different ways you can actually use the emergency button on your phone.
Yeah. So how is it? It works somehow like press and hold the dock button. So one click and just tapping it will bring up your dock.
Yep. And then
double
there's an SOS button right there. Yeah.
Well, a double tap will do your Apple Pay.
Yeah.
Press and hold. And there's a setting you can adjust there so that press and hold will either take you straight to, depending on how long you hold it.
Yeah.
It brings up your power off option. But you can make it that you have to then click as well to call SOS, can't you?
Yeah, there's where it says power off. It's also got a emergency button there.
Yes, but what I'm saying is you can change that setting so that it doesn't give you the power off option.
It just does
if you just keep pressing and holding, it will call for you.
Yeah.
Which, might be easy if you're not able to look at what you watch. See what you're doing because you're
keep holding
stuck under a train or whatever.
Yeah.
You just keep holding, and it'll call, and obviously if it can through your phone, and your watch microphone, it'll be using that, and then it'll send SMSs to all the contacts that you have, just a message saying so and so has called 000.
Yeah.
And away you go.
Yeah. Now also, I've put a link in the show notes that has some more images and it goes into it a lot deeper, because you've actually got to sit there and just spend a little bit of time setting it up. And don't forget to do that in your health app as well for your own first responders that people that turn up.
Your medical ID.
Yeah, very important.
Absolutely.
Pokemon Go, how to save power, server errors, and app crashes. So to stop the battery drain, turn down your screen brightness, turn off AR, and get a battery case. That's the first choices. Now, if we've got an overloaded server error, return to the home screen if you can by pressing the home button. Double press the home button to enter multitasking. Swipe Pokemon and then swipe up to force quit the app. Relaunch Pokemon Go and sign in, and hopefully that will get you in. Now, has Pokemon Go crashed and you're not sure whether your game's frozen or your internet connection is just being terrible? Look for the spinning white Pokeball in the upper left corner. The game uses the icon to signify the player that Niantic servers are being refreshed. Or if your graphic freezes but that Pokeball icon is spinning, chances are the game is just trying to connect back to its central server, and everything should catch up within a few moments. You can also check your iPhone status bar at the top of the screen to see the strength of your internet connection. And if instead your animations resume but your buttons don't do anything and the Pokeball continues spinning, your game may have lost connection to the server and needs a reboot. I'm sorry for all you Poke people.
Oh dear. I don't think my boys have played Pokemon Go for a little while now. I'm not sure. I think it's... Actually, no. The old one is still doing it occasionally.
Yeah.
I think, still there. It's still happening. So, having a longer life than I would have thought, actually, I suppose.
I'm sure there's plenty of people still playing it. It just hasn't got that first weekend magic, has it?
No. It's fine. It's okay.
They might bring out a new ball next week or something too, so... Yeah. Now, I'm a backup freak, annoying people about it all the time. So, backing up your iTunes library. You may have already backed up your Mac using Time Machine or Carbon Copy Cloner or Super Duper. So, to manually back up your iTunes music, movies, TV shows, and of course podcasts, us. First, consolidate your library. This ensures everything's in one place. And I know it sounds funny, but the way some people move music around and drag it to the music folder instead of the iTunes and blah, 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 it ends up in different places. So after you've consolidated, connect a suitably sized hard drive, open your music folder.
Which could be quite a large one.
It could be, yeah. Because you remember it, we're talking your TV shows and your movies and things that you've bought from the store, and you open your music folder, which is inside your users folder, and drag over the iTunes folder to the external hard drive. So, and again, in the show notes there'll be more detail and images which can be found at iMore. And back it up. Now that might be 100 gig. Depends how many songs you've got, and you can also do it the same way, storing it off-site. But there's not many places in Australia that you want to do that. It'd take too
probably
long.
Not. I think the other thing people need to remember with TV shows and things like that you've bought from iTunes now. I haven't looked into this recently, but I believe the situation is still the same where. So you download a season of whatever show it is that you've purchased from iTunes. Now, a good thing is later on you can, you might lose it off your system, but it's okay. You can re-download it. Well, not always. No. Sometimes if, and we know especially with movies, things like that, the particular studios will put them on this streaming service for a while. Then they'll give them to iTunes for a while. Then they'll put them on, some other pay TV system or whatever. They move the license around between different providers. Yeah. So if it comes to the day you want to watch that movie that you purchased 12 months ago, it may not currently be in the iTunes store. So you won't be able to download it from the iTunes store at that time. So it's actually not a bad idea if you do purchase a movie, things like that through iTunes, keep a local copy, and keep it backed up, like Michael's saying, because we get really used to the idea of being able to re-download stuff that we've bought that's digital, but it's not always the case. But things go away, apps go away. You talk about being a backup freak. I used to, and I don't do this so much anymore, but I used to keep old copies of apps, so the API files.
Yep.
Old version. So when you download a new one onto your Mac, obviously the old one gets deleted. I have to keep the old ones because sometimes they'll break a feature or they'll change the app in a way, and you think, I really like the old one better.
Yes, I've done that myself.
There's no way you can put it back on. But if you do have that old copy, the old API, and it needs to be yours, you can't just get somebody else's old version of the app. You need to have your one. You'll be able to reinstall that on your phone.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that is an advantage of Time Machine, because if you have a never-ending time machine, you can go back a long period of time to actually find that API too.
Yeah. Yep.
So
now, if we're talking about Time Machine, Michael, I got a message not long before we started tonight.
Okay.
From Time Machine, it said, we've scanned your Time Machine backup and decided that we need to make a new one.
Yep.
Your old one will be deleted.
That's no good.
No, I didn't think it was a very good message either. I wasn't too clear about. I need to check out what that message said again.
Yes.
And it said, do you want to do this now or later? Because it's going to take a couple of hours. It gave me that warning. But
I'll probably get another hard drive and put your Time Machine on another drive, however you've got it set up, so you can keep your current Time Machine list. Yeah.
So I don't know if it's going to just start from fresh and I've got nothing from beforehand, or if it will. Okay, I'm going to make a new one, but I'm still keeping your old points.
I think it'll make a new one.
Yeah,
and I can't understand why it wants to delete your old one.
It's as I said, I need to recheck the message, but
only for time, only for size. If it thinks it's going to be too big or something,
it wouldn't be able to put the same one back on there. There's not enough room for.
Yeah.
Like it's at its limit, sort of thing. It's deleting old ones as it goes at the moment.
Okay.
So I will take your advice though and create a new copy.
Yes.
Or create a copy of the current one before letting anything happen. And I think maybe just a restart of both the machine and Time Machine, and it might decide that, you know what, that current backup is fine. It's okay. We'll see.
Now, just something else reminded me. I had a watch error this morning where when I took it off the charger, the heart rate monitor basically stayed on the charger for the first inch or so and then came. Is that what happened to yours, or was it the screen?
Mine was the screen came off.
So
interesting.
So I went down the Apple store and talked to one of the new girls down there. She was really good. They've taken it away and it might be gone 2 weeks, and they don't know whether I'm getting a new one or a refurbished or mine refurbished or whatever. But it definitely came away for some reason. Yeah, and she said it's in such good nick for something that's more than a year old, that you're there all the time. And but I hadn't bashed it against it. It hadn't been in water, so I'm not quite sure what happened there. So
no, it's well, as I said, I had the same thing. Mine was the opposite thing. I sort of the screen. So I'm just wondering if some of the glue that was used in those initial Apple Watches that came out was a bit
funny.
Yeah, had a few issues.
But it's been a while between yours and mine too. So
yes.
And we had another incident this morning with my wife's watch. She dropped it in her. She went to bed last night with her green tea or whatever, and she dropped the watch in that this morning. And then stayed. So just grab it out, rinse it off. It's still going. So
that won't hurt it.
No.
Like I said, I've been swimming in mine.
It was 2 seconds it was in there, so it should be fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just works faster now because it's healthier after having some green tea.
Green tea, of course. Well, if she's going to keep doing things like that, you'll have to buy a Series 2 watch, Michael, with an improved waterproofness.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
There's only one solution that I can see.
Yeah, give her mine and I buy a Series 2. Yeah, right.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. Because you'll get a nice fresh one. That's what I got, a nice dull. I don't know how many of them they actually fix. I think, yeah.
Yeah. And your Nike one will be here soon?
28th, apparently.
Yeah.
If I continue with the order, yes.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of sites I was looking at today. They must have got the preview model because they've started to release photos and talking about it. What's different about it between that and the average Joe Blow watch? I'm sorry.
Yes. Well, I can't see the downside myself.
That's
It's
right.
the same price.
Yep.
Same price. If you've already got, if you're someone who's, you wanted to stay a silver aluminium anyway.
Yep.
Or either one. Both of them are available, aren't they?
You had to wait longer.
Space grade. You had to wait longer. Yeah, that's true. But apart from that, you've got existing bands and so forth. So
there you go.
you don't have to. Yeah, so it's a win-win.
Yep. That's I agree with you too. Absolutely. So that's it, mate. That's my stories for the week.
And me. So
and you, yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you, everybody. Yeah. Thanks for letting us in your ears again. So maybe we'll get Facebook sorted out. Maybe not. I don't know.
Who knows?
Anyway, it'll be up there soon.
Exactly. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.